following is just a quick overview of what we can do with the oil and gas data inside your instance of Salesforce. One of the features that we look at a lot is the accounts object, and when we look at our account-based selling approach, we want to use the filters, the list view filters, as much as we possibly can to segment our market. So here I brought up, give me all the oil and gas producers that I put in my database that we collect well information for. Here is a list view. I can see here's my Texas well count, my Oklahoma, New Mexico total well count. So we're looking at, is there somebody exclusive to one market, or are they in multiple markets? And we can also use the segmentation. If I'm the account owner, I could say my accounts. Let's say that I looked after Oklahoma. I could specifically say, just give me my accounts that are related from an Oklahoma perspective. And we can also get a lot more granular. We could say, show me my accounts, say in the Strawberry area, or a specific town or a specific county. So we're now really leveraging this feature here. And one of the things that we incorporate with it is not only the oil and gas information, but we can put in your wells, your days since last activity, how many opportunities, how many dollar amounts that you won with these particular accounts. So it's a great way for us to assess how we're doing in a specific market. When I go in and I look at a specific account, the two areas that we focus on, we want to leverage what's available for us in Lightning. We've got our tabs here. I can say I want to go to the oil and gas data tab. And then once I go there, what I have is I can build a series of reports that a person can drill down a little bit further on. So here I've said, okay, I'm looking at, the well licenses that they brought out kind of since January, and we're looking at it, what does it look like from a trend perspective. Again, taking Salesforce and trying to maximize the investment that we have. I could come in here and I can add some segmentation. So I'm going to add a group essentially by state, and then when we look at it by state, what does it look like? What does New Mexico look like? What does Texas look like? What does Oklahoma look like? Are we seeing some trends? Some areas that they might be more focused in. So here we see an uptick on the Oklahoma component of it. I could also break it down and look at it from other graphs and then say, okay, well, what does that look like from a graph perspective? And then when I come in here, I can scroll down and say, okay, well, what are they doing in New Mexico specifically in the month of November? And then we come in and we break things out based on kind of what their geographic location is. So here are all the well licenses that they've got out in New Mexico in the month of November, and then we see which ones have been drilled. So we see this particular lease here has been drilled, and then these other ones are pending on that side of it. So some great information that we can look at specifically within these accounts. Again, once you get to know the analytics tools a little bit better, we can also break out the filters. I can say, hey, I want this to be specifically, let's just look at the entire year for Oklahoma as an example. I can apply that, and then we look at what Oklahoma looks like. And then I can say, well, what does Oklahoma look like in the last month? And then we see that here we've got two leases that they essentially two areas. This is looking like a 3-well pad, and that's looking like a 2-well pad. I can then go out and talk to my customer about this specific location that we're targeting on that side of it. The other component we look a lot at and we want to use is our dashboards. And we built some dashboards for you. So here I've got my USA producers dashboards. And then I can come in and I can specifically look at, what are my Texas well licenses. And then when we look at Texas well license, we look at, here's all the well licenses brought out last week. And then here's what it looks like it broken out by specific region. And then I'm going to come into this particular one, the District 2. And then when I look in the District 2, again, I can come in and I can look at my analytics. So what is District 2? What does that mean to me? We'll let the report draw here. And then ultimately what we see there is kind of, here's the towns that it happens to be broken out into. So you might say, hey, I want to understand a little bit better, what does it look like from, what does District 2 look like from the nearest town perspective? And then we look at it, and there are the towns broken out in there. and then we could look at this particular one specifically and say, well, what activity is going on here? And then I can see Conoco has brought out on a lease of 5. Essentially, we've got 5 wells coming up on this particular lease here, and it's in the Karnes County. It's drilling in the Eagleford, what the depth is, so on and so forth. So, allowing us to really drill down specifically in here. Our goal, once I look at this particular data, click through to the account. Once I get to the account, who are my contacts? Within that account, once I look at my contacts, who am I going to call specifically about that? So I could say, hey, I'm going to call this individual. Then I'm logging my calls, creating my sales opportunities, doing everything that I've done before inside of inside of my instance of Salesforce. So we're just bringing the analytics, trying to make people more aware of what accounts are doing, and hopefully that will drive productivity.